السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم في موقع أكاديمية أطفال الرمثاء النموذجية. سابع يلا. Open your student book page 59. Before you start, look at the pictures. Who are these people? Where are they? What is there in the bag? Here we have a picture of two merchants. They have a bag. What's there in it? Maybe money. Let's start with exercise number 1. Listen to the words below in context. Try to guess their meaning. Servant, merchant, loss, wonder, pull. The meanings are in the activity book page 75. First one, we have merchant, means someone who buys and sells goods. Servant means someone who's paid to clean someone's house. Number 3, loss, no longer having something you used to have. Move to the next page. To pull means use your hands to make something move towards you. يسحب. To wander, to move slowly across or around an area. يتجول. Now, listen again and check your guesses in activity book. What's the meaning of it's someone who's paid to clean someone's house, cook for them? He is the servant. Number 2, it means to walk without knowing where you are going. Means wander. It's someone who buys and sells things. He is the merchant. Now, move to the next page. Listen to the story which an old man is telling to his grandchildren. Then act it out 3 of your classmates. Every story in this life has elements. What are the main elements of a story? You have to know that there are 4 main elements for the story: theme, characters, plot, and setting. Let's start with theme. Theme means the main idea, الفكرة الرئيسية بالنص. The lesson, the why of the story. Why did the writer write this story? Why? This is the theme. Number 2, the characters, the people in the story. Who are the people in the story? Number 3, the plot. The plot means the problem in the story. What is the problem? Number 4, setting, where, the place, and when the time of the story happened. Let's look at the lost bag story. Here we have the lost bag. Let's start with the theme. What is the theme in this story? Maybe helping people will help you one day. Maybe it's about helping people. Maybe it's about being kind and good. And this is how it affects you in the future. Number 2, characters. Who are the characters in the story? We have the merchant, his wife, and the sheikh. The plot. What's the problem in the story? The bag of jewels was lost. Number 4. What is the setting, the place and the time? The setting in the village, in the house of the sheikh, and time a long time ago. These are the 4 main elements of the story. Exercise number 3. Listen to the story which an old man is telling to his grandchildren, then act it out with the 3 of your classmates. So, who is telling the story? Old man is telling the story to his grandchildren. Let's start listening.
Module 5, page 60, exercise 3.
A long time ago, there lived a rich merchant. He was always dressed nicely, and he carried many fine jewels with him. He travelled from one city to another. A band of camels and servants often travelled behind him in a long...
Now, if I ask you, who often travels with the merchant? A band of camels and servants, often traveled behind him. Let's continue.
business was buying and selling goods. He was very good and kind to poor people.
Now, if I ask you, describe the way the merchant treated the poor. He was very good and kind to poor people.
Once, the merchant was traveling with a lot of money. As he was on his way back home, his money bag fell to the ground, but he did not notice it. He only discovered the loss of his money when he reached home. The merchant did not worry about the lost bag. He still had enough money for himself and for helping others. Then there came a time when business was not so good. He became an old man with very little money.
So how did the merchant become poor? Because business was bad and he had to sell everything he owned.
The poor merchant sold everything he had, and soon he did not have any money at all. Very often he and his wife had nothing to eat. And then, one cold night,
We have no more food. Let us walk to the next village where no one knows us. Someone will help poor people like us.
This is what his wife said. So if I ask you, what did the wife suggest to do when they became poor? She suggests to walk to the next village and ask someone to help them.
and so they walked in the cold night air. They wandered for a long time until they reached the first house in the next village.
So where did they go? To the next village.
The wife was too tired to walk anymore. She fell down on the steps and began to cry.
So if I ask you, what did the wife do when they reached the next village? What did she do? She fell down on the steps and began to cry.
The sheikh who lived in the house heard her and opened the door.
Who are you? What are you doing here at this time of night?
The merchant and his wife told him their sad story. The sheikh asked them to come in.
What color was your bag?
It was a round, black bag with a string around it. Inside were some jewels and 1,000 dinars.
So in this time, the merchant described the bag correctly.
It's late, and you must be very tired. Food and rest with us for the night. Tomorrow you will feel better.
The next morning, they all sat around the table for breakfast. The sheikh pulled an old black bag from a box.
Now, I have a story to tell you. A long time ago, I found this bag on the road near my house. I hid it away safely. I knew that someday I could return it to its real owner. Now, I am sure you are the person. Is this the bag you lost?
Yes, it is. It's the bag that I lost. I cannot tell you how thankful I am. I will always remember how kind you were to me.
So how did the sheikh knows that the merchant was the owner of this bag? He knew it because this man described it correctly. Let's move to exercise number 4. Let's start with A. How did the merchant become poor? The merchant became poor because business was bad and he had to sell everything he owned. B. How did the sheikh knows that the merchant was the real owner of the bag? Because the merchant described the bag correctly. C. Why didn't the sheikh spend the money he found? Because the sheikh knew that someday he could return the bag to its real owner. D. What would you do with the money you gained back from the sheikh if you were the merchant? This is depend on you. For example, I could say I would buy a house and I would trade. So these are the answers. You can write them down. Now, move to the next one. In pairs, fill in the blank with the verb from the list. Investigate, knew, robbed, came, saw, arrived, made, followed. Someone robbed a bank in a city. A very famous detective came from another country and made a plan to solve the mystery. When he arrived at the bank, he investigated so that his footprints were always next to the broken glass. So this is how he knew that the guard was the thief. The guard, يعني الحارس, was the thief. Now, exercise number 6, you are going to listen to this and check your answers.
Module 5, page 61. Exercise 6.
Someone robbed a bank in the city. A very famous detective came from another country and made a plan to solve the mystery. When he arrived at the bank, he investigated the way the thief broke in through a glass window. He followed the guard and saw that his footprints were always next to the broken glass. So, this is how he knew that the guard was the thief.
Now, open your student book, page 62. Move to this exercise, communication workshop, writing a detective story. Before you start, check up the meaning of these words, then read the story. What's the meaning of frightened? It means afraid. خائف. Suspect means a person thought to be guilty of a crime. مشتبه به. Ransom معناها فدية, a money giving to release a person. Number 4, to cover up, to hide the truth. يتستر على. Kidnap. Kidnap means اختطاف. Take someone by force. Investigate, to investigate, means to examine the fact. Victims means a people harmed or injured. Police officer is the policeman. So here you can find these meanings. Let's start with reading. Mr. Hayek went to see the Jordanian police on Thursday morning. He was very frightened. I think somebody wants to kidnap me today, officer, he said. Why do you think so? Asked the police officer. This started 3 days ago. I usually get back home late from work and go right to bed. On Monday, I heard my new neighbor, who lives next door, arguing with his wife. I don't see anything wrong, said the police officer. They were discussing the same plan on Tuesday and Wednesday. The neighbor said, Omar and Walid are going to break into the flat next door on Thursday night. Omar takes all the money and Walid will cover up for him. What if they kidnap the man? Omar and Walid will kidnap him and ask the Jordanian police for a ransom. بدهم يطلبوا فدية. His wife said, said the police officer, who are your neighbors? Let us investigate them. So they want to know who are these people. They are Mr. Ibrahim and Susan Youssef, said Mr. Hayek. Ibrahim and Susan Youssef, said the police officer. This case is not so difficult. There would be no victims. Victim يعني ضحية. ما راح يكون في ضحايا لهاي الشغلة. You don't watch TV very often, do you? How did the police officer know? Now, exercise number 1. In group, discuss the story and find the solution to the case. Consider the following question. Why was Mr. Hayek worried? Why was he worried? Because he thought that Mr. Ibrahim, his neighborhood, was sending Omar and Walid to kidnap him. What did the policeman know about the suspect? What did they know about him? It appears that Mr. Ibrahim and Susan are the script writer. هم script writer كاتبين نص for a TV show maybe. Exercise number 2. In a group, solve this case answering the following question. We want now to read this and answer these questions. One night, a panda disappeared from its cage in the zoo. In the morning, the zookeeper found the door of the circular cage was open. Nobody knew where the panda was. Only 3 men had keys of the zoo. A detective arrived and interviewed the 3 men. Where were you the night the panda was stolen? I was having dinner at home with my family, said the zoo owner. I was cleaning the corner of the cage, said the zoo cleaner. I was feeding the lion, said the manager. Who lied? How did the detective know? Let's start with doing this exercise first. What happened? A panda was missing. B. Where did it happen? In the zoo. C. Who did it? The zoo cleaner. How did we know? Because the zoo has no corners. D. How did it happen? The zoo cleaner stole the panda when the owner was at home and the manager was busy feeding the lion. Why did he or she do it? You can choose the answer. You can say he might want to get rid of this manager by accusing him of a theft. So, who is the person who stole the panda? He was the zoo cleaner. How do we know that? Because it's a cage and he was cleaning the corner of this cage. Page 63, exercise number 1, language development. Complete this passage with the correct comparative and superlative form of the adjective in brackets. They are talking about Sam Spade. Sam Spade and Philip Marlowe are the most famous American detective. So both of them are the most famous. Spade is less wise and less intelligent than Marlowe. How do we use less? Because we are comparing 2 people with not and not. So it's less. Marlowe is more popular than Spade. He's also a better man than Sam Spade. They are comparing him to Sam Spade. Marlowe enjoys chess and poetry, and he's kinder than Spade. Number 3, you are going to listen to them, so pay attention. Yeah.
Module 5, page 63. Exercise 2. Sam Spade and Philip Marlowe are the most famous American detectives. Spade is less wise and less intelligent than Marlowe. Marlowe is more popular than Spade. He's also a better man than Sam Spade. Marlowe enjoys chess and poetry, and he is kinder than Spade.
Exercise number 3. You are going to write sentences using these verbs in the past form about things you did yesterday. You are going to write sentences about things you did yesterday. For example, I forgot to turn off my computer yesterday. Forget صارت forgot and the verb to والتكملة. This is the homework. Number 4. Use these words to ask questions about the different detective stories throughout this module. What Dr. Mortimer receive? كيف رح نظبطها نعملها question? What did Dr. Mortimer receive? Where did Miss Marple live? What did Hercule Poirot use to solve a crime? What did Marlowe enjoy? Question number 5. Now answer them. We are going to answer these questions. So let's start answering. What did Mortimer receive? He received a walking stick. Number 2. Where did Miss Marple live? She lived in a small village. What did Hercule Poirot use to solve a crime? Little grey cells. What did Marlowe enjoy? he enjoys chess and poetry. Exercise number 6. Use these words to write sentences. We have a words. We are going to join them to make sentences. Number 1. Holmes looked like a detective, but Miss Marple didn't. Number 2. Miss Marple is kinder than Holmes and Poirot. Number 3. Holmes observed an object before making conclusion. Number 4. Poirot was smart. Number 5. Many people know Sherlock Holmes. Exercise number 7. Match the following words with the definition above. So here, let's start with the first one. Holmes looks like a detective, but Miss Marple don't. That means to be professional. Number 2. Miss Marple is kinder than Holmes and Poirot, so she's pleasant. Number 2. Pleasant. Number 3. Holmes observed an object before making conclusion. This is how to be logical. Number 3. Number 4. Poirot was smart. That means he is intelligent. Number 5. Poirot was smart. Many people know Sherlock Holmes because he was famous. Now open your activity book page 50. Exercise number 7. Use these words to make a question, then answer them. Intelligent, who, the, history, is detective in most. We want to reorder them. Who is the most intelligent detective in history? Now we want to answer them. Who is the most intelligent detective in history? Sherlock Holmes is the most intelligent detective in history. Number 2. Mahmoud Salim, which the detective is of series best? We want to reorder them. Which is the best detective series of Mahmoud Salim? The answer is The Five Adventurer. Number 3. Which is the more thrilling, a romantic novel or a detective novel? The answer is a detective novel is more thrilling than a romantic novel. Number 4. Whose detective series are most useful for children? The answer is Mahmoud Salim detective series are more useful for children. Number 5. Who is the most famous detective in history? Sherlock Holmes is the most famous detective. Look at these answers and write them down. Number 8, we want to do this question. Use these notes to write a paragraph. Who? Sherlock Holmes. Now we want to add a verb. Who was Sherlock Holmes' greatest enemy? It was Professor Moriarty. He was the worst, bad بتصير worst, أسوأ, criminal in the stories of Sherlock Holmes. He didn't like Sherlock Holmes because we talked about something in the past. He didn't like Sherlock Holmes and he wanted to stop his detective work. People said he was a genius. He was a scientist who worked in a university. Some people thought he was more intelligent than Holmes, but Holmes defeated him. Moriarty was less successful than Holmes. Write them here again and add the verbs and correct the something wrong here, okay? Exercise number 9 is a homework. Do it at home and find this word. Page 51. We will check it later. Move to exercise number 1 in page 52. Focus on writing. Punctuation, writing dates. In British English, it's usual to write the date before the month. In British, they write the date, day, the month, then the year. Day, month, then we put the year. In American English, it's usual to write the month before the date. We write the month, then the day, then the year. Or in this way, we write it. Day, month, comma, the year. We can write dates in different styles, like 31, 1, 11, 31, 1, 11, or 131, 11, 131, 11, and here we put a full stop. Here we use another thing. Complete this table with the corresponding dates. Let's start with the first one. 20th June 1955. 20 June 1955. 20 of 6 is June. 55 is the year. 6, 20, 55. Here we have 15 April 2011. Here 15th April 2011. 50th 4/11. 4/50th 11. 25th May 2010. 25th May 2010, but here we change the place. May 25 2010. 25 5/10. 5/25/10. Here we have 9/31/12. It means 31st of September 2012. Here we have September 31 2012, 31/9/2012. Move to spelling, exercise number 2. Complete this comparative and superlative adjectives with the correct spelling. Here we have to continue writing the letters, the missing letters. First one is oldest, kinder, harder, wiser. These are the rest are homework. Do it at your home. Exercise number 3, linking words in stories. Establishing a sequence. Write these phrases in the correct place to complete the story. Here we have phrases. We want to put them in the story. When she opened the door, as soon as Max gave the man his mom's address, half an hour later, as they cycled back, one very hot day last summer, before his uncle saw it, a few minutes after they knocked, when they arrived. Let's start reading. One very hot day last summer, Nina and Max saw Max's mother come on looking very angry. Do you remember that old house over on Norton Drive? She said. I put a for sale sign up in the yard this morning, and now it's gone. Max said to Nina, let's solve this mystery. An old lady lives in the house next to the one for sale, said his mother. Maybe she was something, Nina said. Let's go and ask. So this woman put for sale sign للبيع, and she didn't find it. Nina and Max are going to solve this mystery. Maybe she saw something, Nina said. Let's go and ask. Half an hour later, they saw a man in the truck in front of an empty house. Is this house for sale? There aren't any signs. I want to buy it, the man said. My nephew lends me this truck to see it. My mom is selling it, Max told him. So this man wants to buy this house. As soon as Max gave the man his mom's address, he drove off. Said Nina. His nephew may be the thief. Maybe he didn't want people to buy. His uncle saw it, and he put the sign in the back of the truck. Max said, "Let's ask Mrs. Stern." Mrs. Stern came to the door a few minutes after they knocked. "Oh, the thief is Freddie Wanson." This old woman opened the door and she said, "The thief is Freddie Wanson." She told them, "He lives a block away and he's very mean. He's a very bad person." When she opened the door, Nina looked inside and she saw a cheerful fire in the chimney. Now pay attention. Here they say a hot day last summer. And here she saw cheerful fire in the chimney. "Let's go and see Freddie." Freddie said, "I didn't take the sign. I worked in the garden all morning." So Freddie said, "I didn't take this sign." Nina looked at this garden. It was very tidy. كانت جدا مرتبة. As they cycled back, Nina and Max talked. When they arrived, Nina told Max's mother, "We know who took the sign." فنينا عرفت who stole the sign. Now, who took the sign? How did Nina and Max find out? Mrs. Stern stole the sign because she didn't want any neighbors. She stole the sign, so Miss Stern stole the sign. How did they find out this? Max and Nina found out because the sign in her fireplace on a hot day in the summer. So Miss Stern was burning the sign in her fireplace on a hot day in the summer. And we know in summer we don't make a fireplace. So this is how they solved the mystery. Thank you so much.